If this is you, you are not alone. Knee pain is one of the most common injuries that you get in badminton. And when you go to halls, badminton halls, especially for amateur, intermediate, non-professional players, the area where you see a lot of taping tend to be around the kneecap. In this video, I'm going to try to give you a rough explanation of what this knee pain is, and the one exercise that I recommend everyone to do before they play badminton in order to minimize that knee pain that you develop during the game. So your kneecap, there's a tendon that runs from the kneecap down to your shin bone, and that is called the patella. When you get sore, you typically get what you call patellar tendonitis, which is where you put this tendon under stress from a lot of lunging. And in a game of badminton, you do a huge amount of lunging, lateral to forward, right? And even when you do your rotation at the back, you put a lot of pressure on your right kneecap to jump up and down. Because as you can imagine, when you go backwards and you rotate, you will initiate that jumping off your right leg, or you're leading your racket leg. So therefore, that right knee or your racket knee gets a lot of use, a lot of abuse in a game of badminton. So you imagine you play 2 or 3 hours of badminton straight, that's constant pressure that you're putting on your patella. And quite often you see is the racket leg, knee, that tend to be more painful than the non-racket leg. They call this jumper knee because jumper knee is very common in jumping sports where you got basketball, there's a lot of jumping. So once again, it's this repetitive motion of jumping up. As you can see here, when I jump, looking at sideways, when I jump, this right knee tend to be in front of my right ankle. You wouldn't jump like this, right? Certainly when you do squat, you can control how far that knee go forward. But when you jump, as you can see, my right knee will be in front of my ankle, which means that tendon, that patella tendon, get a lot of workout when you're jumping at the back, when you lunge sideways, and when you go forward towards the net. And this is why that patella tend to be quite sore. So now you can understand why the patella get quite a bit of abuse during games of badminton. But what causes that pain to last longer than normal, or in some cases especially sore? One of the main reasons is that we are not using the bigger muscle to support our movement, specifically your butt muscle, the gluteus maximus. As you can imagine, the patella tendon is just a tiny, tiny strips of tendons, while the gluteus muscle is a much bigger muscle. So when you perform any kind of leg movement, you want to activate your glute before you start to activate other muscle and other part of your body. So you're trying to get the big powerhouse to do the heavy lifting first before you start to using the smaller part of your body, the smaller muscles, the smaller tendons. So the modern lifestyle, we sit a lot, on the computer, on the couch, surfing the cell phone and stuff like that. And what happens when you sit down a lot is that you don't tend to use your butt muscle. And the brain is quite interesting. Is that when you don't use your muscle enough, the brain kind of go, oh, you're not using your glute muscle. I don't need to use it anymore. I'll just forget about it. And essentially that's what will happen, is that the brain kind of start to think, okay, so you don't use your gluteus maximus, you're not using your glute muscles anymore. We kind of forgot how to use it and how to what they call activate the muscle. And what happens then is when you do a lot of your lunging and your jumping, is start to use other part of your legs and your body first before it use your glute. So what you really want to do is basically trying to remind the brain that, hey, I still have the big glute muscle. Please use this when I play my badminton. And the exercise that I'm going to show you is purely about that. It's about activating your glute muscle so that the brain can go, ah, we do have the glute muscle. Let's use that. So you're going to find the wall. Be, you know, maybe a hand and a half, maybe 2 handfuls away from the wall, or maybe a little bit closer, so you're able to do something like this. The whole point for you using the wall is just to help for you to balance and not fall over, and also give you basically a pivot point and reminder for you not to lean forward. So your first exercise is quite simple. So in this first exercise, don't bring the leg just straight back, but bring it slightly out like this. And the whole point is that you bring it back far enough so that your butt becomes rock hard. So right now, my bum is really soft and fluffy. But if I bring up to a certain point, that glute muscle is gonna tighten, and tighten a lot. So as I bring this right leg back, my butt muscle, my glute muscle, will begin to tighten maybe about here, and it will tighten a lot. So the whole point of the exercise is not about how high you can raise it, okay? It's about trying to find a point where you can feel that glute muscle is really tight, which means it's activating, and at the same time, you are not leaning forward. So trying to be as straight as you can, and just bring it back to a certain point, and you hold it there for 5 seconds, and then you let it down nice and slow. So don't just drop down like this, okay? So everything you do is control, is nice, and it's slow. So once again, I'm just gonna bring this leg back, hold it for 5, and bring it down nice and slow. So again, bring it back slightly to the right, hold it for 5 seconds, and then let it down nice and slow. And normally I would do 5 times on the right and 5 times on the left. So take your time. So at the beginning, you might feel like, oh, my glute, it doesn't feel that bad, it's not burning at all. But after you do 5, and you do 3 sets on each leg, your glute will feel very, very activated. Your glute you will feel the burn in your glute. So that's exercise number 1. So hold for 5 seconds and then slowly let it down again. So remember, everything is nice and slow, nice and controlled. The second exercise is now to go outward, but slightly back. So what I mean is that there's a wall, instead of to bring your leg outward, bring it slightly back. And once again, you trying to do so that you're trying to be as upright as possible rather than like this, okay? I'm just gonna go out and slightly back. Oh, that's painful already. 5 seconds, and then let it down. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, let it down. And you repeat on the left. So 5 on the right, 5 on the left, 3 sets on each side. By now, your glutes will be burning, and you're gonna feel up here, and that's why it's on the side also. So now your third exercise is a combination of the two, where you move your leg in a controlled and circular motion. So I normally start out, bring it back, bring it out, and that will be 1. That feels sore, and I haven't even done my proper reps as I make this video. So by the time you do that on each side, your glute muscle, gonna feel on fire. If they're not on fire, there's something wrong, okay? And the great thing about this exercise is that it doesn't take that much time. It really helps your brain to say, hey, we can use the glute muscle. It's working, it's firing up. So now when you lunge, and especially pushing back as well, you're gonna get these glute muscle to fire first, and that will help you to come back. So apparently there has been research done to show that the more you can fire up your glute, the more it will get used first before it starts to use the smaller muscles in your body. And that's how you can transfer most of the workload into the glute and away from that patella. So I know from my experience when I do that, and I try to do that all the time when I play, either I would do the exercise before I come to the hole, or I would do it if I have arrived on the hole already. Because I know that I'm 46 years old now, I'm pretty old, and I don't want to get knee pain, right? The more I can do that exercise before the game, the more it's going to help me. And don't forget, there's not a one fix all solution. You still have to do your flexibility, you still have to do your stretching and your strengthening exercise, but that is a beautiful, beautiful exercise to basically activate your glute. So yeah, give that a try. I know it has helped me a lot. Try to get Maylin, my oldest daughter, to do that before she goes into tournaments or big events, just so that make sure that she doesn't get knee pain. So I personally scared of knee pain. I am scared of the patellar tendonitis. Patellar tendonitis is a chronic injury, which means that it's not like a muscle. So if I'm sore, I can let it rest. It will heal. It will slowly heal as long as I don't tear any fibers or anything like that. But giving time to recover, it will heal. Patellar tendonitis or most tendonitis problem, it doesn't really heal over time. It's already weakened. It needs to be strengthened. Resting only kind of stop the inflammation or calm the inflammation down, but it doesn't help to build strength of the tendonitis. And that's why patellar tendonitis tend to be quite chronic. I don't want my patellar tendonitis to flare up again. And this is a great exercise to really minimize that risk of it flaring up again. And it's just like sunscreen when you go outside. It's such an easy way to minimize the risk of skin cancer when you go out on a hot day, go to the beach or whatnot. Slap on the sunscreen. You can do it. Anybody can do it. But you have to make the effort to put on the sunscreen to protect yourself. Just like patellar tendonitis. This is a great example as a tool to help you to minimize that risk. So please give that a try. I think it's an amazing, amazing exercise. I was so glad that I stumbled across that video on YouTube to learn about that exercise. I don't remember who it was from now. But so please, if you experiencing knee pain, and honestly, even if you are not experiencing knee pain, I still want you, or I highly recommend you to try to give the exercise a go. Don't wait for the pain to arrive before you start doing something about it. This is a great tool for you to help to minimize that risk and allow you to play badminton for much, much longer. So why not? So yeah, let me know if you've done the exercise. I would love to know how you feel about them and if it helps you at all with your knee pain. Badminton is a beautiful sport, but unfortunately with badminton, it's a very highly strenuous sport. It's physically quite tough on your body, lower back, knee pain, shoulder pain, everything like that. So it's important that we look after our body when we play. And for those who are getting up to my age and beyond, you know how slow it takes for our body to recover now. So the more we look after the body, the longer we can play and the more we get to enjoy badminton. So yes, please give the exercise a go. I would love to hear your thoughts and comments about it. And then yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. If you happen to like this video, don't forget to click on one of the, the video here, and hopefully there'll be more and more good stuff to help you with your badminton journey. Have a nice day, guys. Bye-bye.